Hello and welcome back to Success Tips here on Destiny Global. And as we wind down this year with just a couple weeks left and we gear up for 2026, we're really coming into like the culmination of the holiday season with Christmas and New Year's. And in over 20 years in business, having years that were successful and not, spending time around people that are successful and people that are not, one of the things that I have noticed is that there is a difference in the way successful people spend their holiday season. And there's a difference between those that are succeeding and those that are not, how they spend their holiday season, how they spend their time at their holidays, some of the things they do. And we have often been asked, or when people are with us for the holidays, one of the comments that we will get is, wow, like I've never quite spent Christmas this way, or I've never thought about Christmas this way, or I've never thought about the holidays in this light. And so today we're going to take a couple minutes and hopefully give you some ideas of how successful people spend their holidays. Some of the things that we have learned, that we have implemented, that we have done that have really made the holiday season more special, more enriching. It's been a season full of joy versus full of stress and debt and all the things like it is in a lot of people's lives. I will say the holidays are without a shadow of a doubt one of the happiest times in our house. And in a lot of people's homes, studies have shown that the holidays tend to be one of the more stressful times, which is exactly the opposite of how it should be. So let's get started. Number one is reflection and goal review. So when you like the holiday season, these last couple weeks of the year, before we come into 2026, 98% of the population, this is like the hustle and bustle in the shopping and getting everybody the right gift. And that's really what the focus is on. And what I'm going to tell you is successful people, 2% of the population, are focusing on the year they've had. They're reflecting. They're writing down significant wins, like things that have gone right this year, challenges maybe from the year, challenges from the quarters. And so again, reflecting on our big wins and also what are some challenges that maybe we faced that we overcome, or maybe that we learned our biggest lessons from. Writing down specific actions or decisions that led to some of your biggest successes. Like it's really just looking at your year and reviewing what went well and what didn't. What were some of my biggest lessons? What were some of my biggest wins? Also recognizing patterns, whether it's positive patterns or negative patterns. Identifying, like we talked about, key lessons, like what were some of the biggest lessons you learned in 2024? But it's looking at the entire year and just reflecting on the good and the bad. Because by the way, it's the good and the bad that have made you who you are. It's the good and the bad. Like we learn the lessons that we need to learn to get to where we're going through the bad, through the failure, through the negative. And so it's really, really, really important. The second thing that successful people focus on during the holiday season is deepening relationships, family time, quality time spent together. And so the holiday time, if we allow it to, can be crazy and it can be busy and it can be full of running here and running there and stress because we've got to get another gift and the lines are so long and the traffic's just crazy. I can remember last year I needed to run to the grocery store and we were coming back from someplace and I'm like, oh, we'll pass by Super Target. Let me stop there. And it took me like 20 minutes just to get into Super Target. And I was like, this is madness. This is crazy. Like, what are all these people doing? And it was 2 weeks before Christmas. I know what they were doing. They were last minute shopping. They were getting gifts. They were doing all the things. And you could tell just by walking in. If you go shopping during the holidays, it typically is not filled with people singing Kumbaya or Hallelujah or Jingle Bells. It's typically people running around with their cards, trying to get this, trying to get that, right? And so being intentional about who you're spending time with, people who encourage you, inspire you, support you, practicing being fully present in conversations and not allowing yourself to drift off into your to-do list or what you have to do. So like around the holiday time, that's when we'll spend more time with the kids. We'll not only reflect with my husband and I, but we'll reflect with the kids, like, what are you proud of? What lessons did you learn this year? What are you excited about for the new year? Like, we start talking about this before the new year gets here, during the holiday season. So deepening connections, deepening relationships. Really, one of the things that we love to do is having traditions, like starting traditions that we love to carry on, and that our hope and prayer, starting traditions that we will have, and then our kids will have, and then our grandkids will have, and then our great grandkids will have. Like, if you don't have any traditions, something that your kids, your family knows that this is what we do every year, this is a tradition. And some of those can be as simple as having, by the way, wealthy people, successful people are all about traditions. They're all about legacy. They're all about building things, creating memories, building things that last far longer than they're going to last. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do gifts, but what I am saying is, if you ask people what they got last year, most of them don't even remember. But what they do remember is the time, the connections, the traditions. Those are what we remember. Those are what, when we're on our deathbed, those are the things that we cherish. And so one of ours is doing cinnamon rolls on Christmas morning. Cookie day, 5 days before. One of the traditions is giving back, which we're going to talk about here in a moment. But what traditions can you do going and driving through the park to see Christmas lights? Reading about how Jesus was born in a manger, and making sure that our kids understand the reason for the season in our family and things like that. So these are just little traditions that we've done, and it's all about who are we spending time with, honoring the reason for the season. And so you can make your own traditions. There's no rule book for this. It's your family, but make sure you have traditions. One of our traditions is family Christmas pajamas. We wear pajamas all day on Christmas. And we pick new pajamas every year, and we all wear pajamas on Christmas. And like this year, we have they're polar bear pajama pants, and then we have sweatshirts that say the O'Quinn Family Christmas, making memories since 2009, and then Georgia. So like, this is, we design these every year, and this is something our kids will remember. So deepening meaningful time, meaningful relationships, connections with the people you love. Number 3, and this one has been one of our traditions, but this is something that successful people do all year round, but they really put an emphasis on it during the holidays, and it's giving back to the less fortunate. Giving back, whether it's sponsoring a family, whether it's taking food to the less fortunate, providing, having groceries delivered for someone who's not going to have a Christmas meal, delivering presents, paying someone's heat bill. One of the things that we do is we go out and we go to Walmart and Target and Aldi's and Kroger, and our kids can just pick people and we'll pay for their bill. Or going to Starbucks and, finding someone, and like, we literally take a whole day, 8 hours, and we just go around to different stores and we buy people's stuff. And so it's finding a way to give back. And it can be as far as like, when we do our Christmas day, we always take a couple tins of cookies, and each of the kids get to go into a parking lot and encourage somebody and give them a tin of cookies. And whether that's finding a mom, and, last year our son saying, "You're a good mom, you're doing a good job," and watching her burst into tears as he encouraged his mother and gave her cookies. Or my daughter picking out a veteran and saying, "Thank you for your service. Here's some cookies. Merry Christmas." There's so many different ways to give back, whether it's finding somebody who, an elderly person who needs their leaves raked, and your family goes out and they mow the grass and they rake their leaves and, make sure everything's ready for their house for winter. Giving back doesn't have to cost a lot of money. It's seeing a need and filling it. And so this is something that successful people do during the holiday season, is they give back. And this can also become one of your traditions. As far as another thing that successful people do, number 4, plan ahead. So not only reflecting, but setting time aside to start to think about, what do we want this next year to look like? Like, we're getting ready to start a brand new year, a brand new season, a brand new 12 months of opportunity. What do we want these next 12 months to look like? What do we want this next year to look like? And this is where you're going to consider what goals, what are the things you want to accomplish? What are the habits that you need to get rid of? What are the habits that you want to add? What are the things that are important for you as a person, as a couple, as a family, as an employee, as a business owner that you want to do this year? And focus on where do you want to grow? Personal development is always, always, always a part of our plan. And our last, and I think it's my last and final one, and this one, oh my goodness, I'm telling you, one of the things successful people do during the holidays is they do self-care and they recharge. They recharge. They know that during the holidays, it's not about all the hustle and bustle. That's what the 2% have convinced us, that it's all about the gifts and the rat race and all about the things, right? No, it's about connections, reflections, giving back, and about making sure that we've also taken care of ourselves so that when a new year rolls around on December 31st and January 1st comes and it's a brand new year, that we are ready to take that year by the horns and we're ready to go. We're ready to make this next coming year the best year of your life. But that's not going to happen if you wait until January 1st and then you wake up from the holiday haze and you're like, whoa, it's a brand new year. Let's go. And you're tired and you're puffy and you're bloated from all the turkey and the caramel corn and the Buckeyes, the peanut butter balls, all the things, right? No, make sure during the holiday season you're planning, whether it's a massage, whether it's resting, whether it's making sure you're getting ample amount of sleep. So that way when the new year gets here, you are not tired, but you're ready. And so these are some things that the 2%, that the successful do during the holidays. Let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. I think we have one more success tip before we close out the year, and then we're going to be embarking on 2025. Our very first event in 2025 is going to be First Steps to Success in Dallas, Texas, and that's going to be January 31st, February 1st, and February 2nd. If you don't have your ticket, make sure to get that. It's also, speaking of something successful people do, they invest in themselves. They make sure they put themselves in places with people. Iron sharpens iron. And so if you want to not only declare that it's going to be your best year, but you really want to put yourself in a position to have it come to pass, make sure you have your ticket and you're in that room in January. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, happy Hanukkah, happy whatever it is that you celebrate. I'm so glad that we get to be here together, growing together, doing life together, and have an amazing, amazing holiday season with you and your family.